Hello, everyone.
Joke.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Mishmash Entertainment Podcast. DJ, who is totally here on time.
Matt.
And Miki.
Fucking Matt. Speaking of how Matt's a horrible person.
Yep.
Actually, it was me. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Jackbox games. In particular, the game Quiplash. More specifically, Quiplash 2.
Great game.
Fantastic game. Really brings out your horribly racist side.
No, it brings out some people's horribly racist side.
Well, I'm not super. No, I was racist. Just
Racist,
I just was making
all
fun
that.
of kids who had cancer.
Yeah, that's all.
In that there was a question: what not to promise a sick child? And I said you're cancer free was my answer.
Yeah.
And I got a quiplash from it because all of my friends are horrible, and they agreed that was funnier than Connor's stupid friggin' thing. So that was kind of the running. He actually said something very similar. He said something very similar, but I was more to the point, and I just worded it better. So that was kind of a running joke for the rest of the night, to the point where the dad there, an older guy who we played D&D with, he said, "Okay, enough with the cancer kids. It's hurting my heart." And then like 2 answers later, he gave a cancer kid joke. But anyway, I think he just wanted to get rid of it just so that he could have that monopoly. And then we were making fun of certain religious sections as well. So.
Well, I mean, it wasn't so much making fun of as just saying Jews over and over again, no matter what, even when it didn't make sense.
Yeah, we were also drunk. I would like to say this: that we love all races, religions, and sexes.
Yeah.
And sick and not sick people.
Listen, I mean, God got you sick for a reason. So I'm kidding.
Oh
I'm kidding.
my
I'm kidding. I don't believe in God. So.
Yeah.
But we were pretty drunk. Basically, what I had planned on doing, and I'd kind of thought about this for a while, was that we would get together and kind of do like a one-off type of D&D night where I listed a bunch of environments, and then I listed a bunch of monsters that you typically find in those environments, and I listed them by their CR challenge rating, and so basically how it is a CR 1 creature is an adequate encounter for a group of level 1 characters. Now, because I had 4 more players than the original 5 player usual, I had to kind of up the game a bit, so I would send them several, almost a dozen lower level creatures for them to fight, and I was including statistics into this game. One of them being, every time you got a kill, you took a shot, which was, in hindsight, a terrible idea for a low-level game. If you ever plan to do something like this, make them 5th or 6th level. That way you're sending, a few quality creatures at them as opposed to just waves upon waves of fodder. Because Matt, who was kill-stealing, that'll learn him.
Maybe a little.
Yeah, just a little bit, a lot. And he ended up having to do, good job.
Whoops.
Nobody heard that. He had to do 4 shots after the first round.
Yeah.
And this was at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it was really setting the precedent.
Yeah.
It was good. And every time I killed a player, I had to take a shot. Fortunately, Matt died once.
Only once.
Only once. He's the only one to die. I may or may not have taken it easy on them after that, because I could have wiped all 9 of them out in one round if I chose, but I didn't.
Because you threw a fucking dragon at us.
It was a red dragon wormling, yeah.
It doesn't matter. We were first level. There's no dragon suitable.
It's a
for level
CR4, and if you look at the Donjon website, 1 CR4 creature is appropriate to 9 level 1 characters.
They're
lying.
They're wrong. They sound wrong.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, well, yeah, I know. 1 breath weapon could fucking
Exactly.
kill all of you, but notice how I didn't use a breath weapon?
But that's the thing. A dragon would have.
Yeah, but it was
We should have been dead.
No, it was there to just harass you guys.
We should have
That's
been
all.
dead.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, so that, like I said, that just set the precedent for the evening of just getting hammered.
Starting drinking, you drank a lot, and then you played Jackbox.
Yes,
Sounds like the typical Jackbox setup.
Well, it is typically. Yeah, we all hang around having a party. It's like when Guitar Hero first came out.
Yeah.
You'd be hanging around having a party, and then somebody would turn on the Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, and then they'd bust out the Guitar Hero, and then it would just be drinking and everybody taking turns playing Guitar Hero or Rock Band or whatever. Yeah. I think Jackbox is turning into that now. The more people that hear about it, and the more people that play it.
I've actually played Jackbox sober.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point? What's the point?
It's a great game. It's a great
Yeah.
party game. Parties, you drink at parties.
Well, that's I mean, typically where we're all adults of the drinking age, it's typically when there's a social gathering, alcohol is typically involved because that's just a part of being growing up and being older. But having said that, there were two guys at my place that weren't really drinking. The older gentleman, who I said, Chris, he was not drinking, and my roommate Jeremy, who ended up kind of sampling a bit of it, but he was more sticking to the non-alcoholic beverages. So
Ryan also didn't drink, so there were 3.
Oh, that's right, Ryan. Yes, of course. Yes, Ryan, who doesn't like the taste of alcohol. Nobody likes the taste of alcohol. No, I'm kidding. Beers, I'm not a huge fan of, but I definitely like my hard rum. Yeah, I mean,
It's my jam.
I remember, I may have told this story before, but my uncle, back down when he was getting married in the States, I was like 10 or 11 or 12. Anyway, he was drinking beer out in the deck with his friends, and I went up and asked him, I said, hey, can I have one? He said, here, sure, you can have mine. So I took a big drink of it, and I spat it out, and I said, oh my God, this is the worst tasting thing I've ever had. Mom, Uncle Ricky, let me drink beer. And all I heard from the inside was, Ricky, make him finish it. The look on my face was absolute horror because it tasted disgusting. I didn't start drinking beer again until I was almost 20. No, that was just not my, no. I'll drink it now because it's not as bad, I guess, but I'd much rather go for the rum and stuff. I like that.
Yeah.
Fan of rum.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
What I'm not a fan of is Bailey's.
Yeah. So the shots basically were randomized, Mickey. So we had 6 different things to shoot from. One of them being Bailey's, another one being Smirnoff, third one, another one being Johnny Walker. Man, you gotta love the J Dubs.
It's so bad.
Oh, the fourth one was Sourpuss. Fifth one was actually the people who make peach schnapps, or one of the, I'm sure there's probably several people. There's one of them, not local, but they're at the local LCs. I forget who it is.
Local guy all by himself that makes peach schnapps.
Anyway, maybe I have had some now. Maybe that's why. I forget the bloody brand name of it. But anyway, they make an apple pie flavored liqueur now too. And I love me some apple pie, and I am super excited to try it out. The girlfriend's probably gonna come over tomorrow night, and we're gonna try it and see how it goes.
I'll have to tell everybody next week.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna try that out and see how that tastes. And I bought a bloody quart because I assumed we'd be doing more shots, but yeah, so that's gonna last me a while if I don't like it.
It sure
But
will.
I assume it will. I assume I will like it again. I mean, I bought it, so I'll drink it. I'm not going to waste it, right? Waste not and such. So
Yeah.
I should plan on doing that again in another couple weeks. So
It should be fun.
yeah, and you guys, I'm going to learn from my mistake and not send a bunch of small hit point creatures at you guys, and so that not everybody gets fucking wrecked right from the goddamn start.
That was mostly my own fault. I also drank like 2.5 doubles of rum and coke through the first encounter, and then at the end had to do 4 shots.
Good Lord.
Wow,
How
you
did you
really
live
set
through
yourself up for failure there.
I drink like twice a year as well, so I was fucked up for a couple hours before it started.
It's true, yeah.
tapering
You
off.
did sober up as the night went on.
Yeah. That's because I was like, I've had enough, and then I went back and had another rum and coke, and that was the.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much just sipped it for like another hour and a half after that. So
Yeah.
that's basically all I was doing, was just sipping my drink and stuff, right? I got to do a lot of math being back there, running the show and shit. So
Calculator.
I know. Listen, use it or lose it. So I try to use my head with most math. Well, actually, when I used to play with my buddies, anytime any big purchases of gold or whatever we're going through, they'd always be like, DJ, what's blah 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 blah. And I sit there. This answer. I was just a calculator right there for them, because I've always had an affinity for numbers.
Yeah, I used to do something like that, except, again, huge nerd. Me and some friends used to build weapons out of PVC piping and foam, and then we had rules where it was like a scoring system where a certain amount of hits were worth so many points, and then it was first to 10 points.
Oh, so you're like amateur LARPers.
Kinda, yeah, except there was no rolling involved. It was just hitting each other.
Wait,
with
hold on. Do you have to
several
roll
weapons.
with LARPing?
Yes,
No.
you do. Yeah.
No shit.
You do.
Are you
No,
for
you
real?
don't.
For real
No.
LARPing, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
You gotta be kidding
How
me.
do you do that? Do you just like pull out your shield, roll some dice?
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
it was like every battle,
Right.
like, do you have to bring your own like folding table to set up to then roll on, and then you just stand back and it's like,
I've never done it, but I think what it is you hit them, and if you hit, you roll damage, and if you don't, you missed. I've never done it myself, and I'm sure there are people out there who LARP without dice.
I feel like
Okay.
it's just first
But-
person on the ground loses.
Really? Oh man, if that's the case, I'm gonna fuck some bitches up next time I go LARPing. Oh man.
The problem there is then nobody's standing after about 10 minutes, and then your entire session is wasted. A lot of people who LARP go out and they'll go like camping for a weekend.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine. She wanted to go LARPing and stuff. She lives in Quebec, and there's a large LARPing community. Well, in any major city, of course, you get a group of people, and she wanted to invite me out, but I don't think it was more for the LARPing.
Yeah.
I think she just wanted an excuse to take me out for the weekend, but that's many, many moons ago.
Now that you're saying how LARPing apparently actually works, there's actually this scout camp that I used to go to. It's the best camp of the year every single time. Shut up. You go, you wear costumes, everything is medieval, and you go and you fight monsters in the woods with your sword and your shield and your dice.
Yep. Sounds like you LARPed.
Wait, when was this? How long ago was this? Like 3 weeks?
No, actually, I missed it this year. I was really disappointed.
Yeah, you were LARPing. Yep.
Yeah, probably.
Definitely
There's
LARPing.
a dragon at the end.
Yeah, you were LARPing. So
Was there a dungeon you had to go into too?
No dungeons.
Oh, okay.
Only the
Yeah.
woods.
All
Lots
right.
of trees. Some mud.
No, I mean the forest could be a dungeon.
it wouldn't be hard to make a LARPing system without dice, so I'm sure there's plenty out there that exist. I actually wouldn't be surprised.
How?
You do a set amount of damage, or different parts would be different amount of damage, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
we weren't
depending on-
actually-
So
hit
like
people.
bear skin be straight damage. Say you have it covered with cloth would be damage reduction 1. You have it covered with like cardboard, which is like your mail
Armor,
or whatever,
yeah.
your armor. Oh, that's gonna give you 2 damage reduction or 3. Headshots have a chance to stun you or something like that. Or how would you do it? Because I mean,
I was thinking
could
like
swing.
headshots would do probably an instant kill or just a lot of damage.
Right.
Like center mass would do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Arms wouldn't do much. Legs wouldn't do much. You'd lose your arm. I know
yeah,
that.
but I mean, if I walk up to you, I'm a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So how's it fair if I just go bam, 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 bam in quick succession, and then you're maybe not as quick on the draw, and you maybe only get 1 or 2 shots on me? And I mean, I got longer reach. Like, how is that defined? Like, is it going to be like the Final Fantasy system where it's like
That's LARPing for you,
walk
though.
up, tap,
The
walk
faster,
back.
stronger
So-
people are going to have
so
an
what we
advantage
need
because
here-
you're actually swinging a weapon around,
What we
right?
need here is we need a LARPing expert to come in
This
and
would be like-
explain
yeah.
everything to
Swing.
us.
It's not. Chops are actually very slow. You want to go for quick stabs or quick thrusts.
Well, what you actually want to do is have a shield and swing from behind your shield because that's how fighting actually works. But never mind, DJ. We can get into the fundamentals later. Stab is very
I didn't know
unlikely.
you were back. You were alive back in the medieval times. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm interested. I'm a fantasy nerd. I like learning how
Sir
people
Arthur?
actually fought.
Jesus.
It's the same thing with you see those little tiny bucklers that sometimes have. They're like only about maybe 5 inches across.
Well, the sound of like almost the size of like a small symbol.
It is, and
Yeah.
the reason they're that small is because you just hold them out like this,
Yeah,
and then
your
it covers
fist.
much more body.
Yeah.
But it's not for your fist. It's actually when you hold it like this,
Yeah.
it covers much more of your body. And it's lightweight. You can do this longer than you can hold a normal shield like this.
True enough.
Arm bent across your midsection. So again, nerd, love fantasy
Yeah.
stuff, love medieval stuff. I would never actually want to be in a real sword fight because that's
no.
the worst way
That'd
to
be
die.
horrifying.
Most of the time, you do not just get a quick death. Usually, it's slow bleeding
Yeah.
out, or they rip your guts open and you bleed to death in your own shit and piss.
Dark.
Swords are not
Thanks
fun.
for that.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact: Vikings. What they used to do is after battles were fought and whatnot, they would give anybody who's wounded a very strong onion soup, and they'd make them drink it. Very, very strong, very warm onion soup. And then they'd smell around the wounds. If they could smell the onion soup from the wound,
Oh yeah,
then you were done.
yeah,
They basically said, "No, you got to make your peace. You're dead."
yeah.
And if they couldn't, then you were gonna heal.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Vikings were
Interesting.
pretty hardcore.
I mean, there are other things that could be ruptured that wouldn't kill you immediately, that wouldn't leak the smell of. But chances are you're going to cut some intestines as well.
That's
so.
exactly it, right? So if it's going like if it's a stomach wound, even nowadays, chances are you're going to be in really bad shape unless you get to the doctor like post friggin' haste.
Yeah.
But so back then, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Just that there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like you're done.
I mean, a lot of people would just die from infection, even if it was like a cut on the arm,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you were in a
Yeah,
battlefield where people were pissing and shitting themselves as they died, and it was mud everywhere, and they didn't have antibiotics.
Yeah.
They
Like-
also, stabbed multiple other people.
Yeah,
The
it's,
same story.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I don't know. Did actually, were people having sex with monkeys back then?
That's not how it
Is
happened. It
that-
was
no, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm
transferred
pretty
through a
that's how
bite,
it-
DJ.
No, I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. If high school gossip has taught me anything,
Yeah.
that's how it worked.
Didn't the rumors of H1N1 weren't they very similar to that? Swine flu?
Maybe, I don't know.
Some of
I wasn't in high school at the time, so I didn't hear any rumors like
Oh,
that.
okay.
I got a joke for you guys.
Point.
So there's a bear, lion, and a pig standing around talking, and the bear says, they get into a dick measuring contest basically, and the bear says, anytime I roar, every creature in the forest runs and hides. And the lion says, yeah, well, anytime I roar, every creature on the plain runs and hides. And the pig says, yeah, I sneeze and everyone in the world freaks out.
All right.
Swine
I saw
flu,
that on
pigs, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, come on, I gotta lighten the mood after you're talking about pissing and shitting.
That's what happens when you die.
Yes, I will.
Very tragic.
Yeah.
Ugh, I know death's not pretty, but
Nope.
sweet Christmas. Let us keep the illusion.
Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
The illusion of what?
I don't know. Death.
Pretty death?
Shut up. Anyway, Sweet Christmas. That leads me into Luke Cage, which then can lead me into The Defenders, which comes out on the 18th of August, and I'm super excited. And by the time this is out, it'll be out, and it's awesome.
I remember a while ago you were talking about on the podcast a movie, or a book that got turned into a
book?
movie.
A book.
Book series?
Holy
recently?
God! What?
Was it you or was it you? Oh no, I don't remember anymore.
It's probably Matt
It's called
because
The
I don't
Dark
read a lot
Tower?
of backs. Oh yeah, The Dark Tower. Yeah,
I
Stephen
was
King.
right. I knew it. Okay.
So no, it's not. Is
Um,
it Stephen King?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Idris Elba is playing the lead. He's a gunslinger, and like most of the gunslingers are dead, and they basically guard the portals between basically hell, I believe, and the real world.
So now I was at work yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, yesterday. And one of my coworkers said he was really excited to go see that movie because he read the books.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was the worst movie he's ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I've been
I
hearing
mean,
not good things.
it's very hard for people to look at other adaptations from things that were originally done. I mean, it's like any like video games that got turned into movies. More often than not, they're gonna suck. Resident Evil, Mortal Kombat. I mean, I love Mortal Kombat just because of how campy and cheesy and terrible it was, and it was just fun to watch. But Resident Evil just they took the base premise and then that was it. I mean, movies. They can bastardize and change things around so easily without seemingly any repercussion at all. Like for example, the one that I can think of the best example of this is World War Z. The only thing that the writers for the movie took from the book was the title.
Oh, wow.
That was it. I was listening to a podcast with Max Brooks, the guy, son of Mel Brooks, great comedian, speaking of Jews. And his son there, he was talking to Chris Hardwick about it and saying about how, the movie was entertaining. It was really good. Wasn't my book, but it was very entertaining nonetheless. So, I mean, he seemed to be quite all right with it. So I'm sure he got a payday out of it. But it's when things get put into the big screen. I mean, everybody has this. I mean, it's like, well, when Final Fantasy was put into the movie, whether it be the Spirits Within or Advent Children, and everybody, I know Spirits Within probably wasn't really well received. I didn't even see it. I didn't care enough to see it because I thought, well, why do I care about this? I love the games and stuff.
Yeah.
Advent Children, hell yeah, it had everybody I really liked, but there's always just such a high standard because everybody's imagination is going to be different.
Yeah.
If I tell you, Miki, to picture a green apple, and I tell you, Matt, to picture a green apple, and I'm picturing a green apple, and if for some way our images, our whatever we think is going to be projected out, I bet you none of us are going to picture the exact same thing.
No, of course not.
It's all going to be different in some way, whether it be
Probably.
yours may have light shining on it, yours may have a worm sticking out of it, mine may be half eaten, right? Like, I mean, it's just, or even if we just had a green apple just sitting on a table, the tables are going to be different.
Yeah.
Whatever's in the background is going to be different. So, to say that, your friend who loves the series probably has imagined this and kept this imagination through the entire time, and now that he's seen somebody else's imagination or creative view of it, it's not what he wanted or expected and is therefore killed the experience. Much like fucking Star Wars. God damn.
Back to Star Wars. Always back to Star
Everything
Wars.
leads back to Star Wars, man.
I mean,
Those fucking prequels.
well, the worst part is like that wasn't even a translation error. That was just George Lucas
CGI.
being
It was all the CGI.
He was unleashed on the world with no one to hold him back, and Spielberg also didn't help in that case.
Unleashed.
Well,
on the
so
world.
Lucas, he actually said that if the internet was around during the first 3 Star Wars movies, he probably would have stopped.
Yeah.
Because just the amount of hate that he got, like everybody was telling him, "Oh, these are the best movies. These are fantastic. These are great." Blah blah blah. So we thought everybody's gonna love these too. Enter internet. Nope, not a chance.
Well, again, I think that's part of his own. I think he probably thinks as of episode 1 to 3 as being as good of movies as 4 to 6 are.
Right.
So I think he's just projecting what he got from making those terrible shit movies.
Listen, he did a lot with what he had. He did a lot with what he had.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
4 to 6, I still like.
Yes.
They are corny. People will sometimes say they're not corny.
100% corny.
Yeah. But they are very corny movies, but if you can appreciate them for what they are, I mean, they're still good movies regardless, but I mean, I know people that watch them later in life and couldn't get into them because there's some ridiculous things in them.
Yes.
And that's fine, particularly in the third one, 6th one.
No, let's go
one.
third one. Third one,
It's all the same.
But like, fucking Ewoks, like, what the shit is that? Like, even watching it now as an adult, I'm just like, that should not be the thing.
Yeah, but
Oh,
they're
sure.
funny. They're funny.
You guys have seen The Princess Bride.
Fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, it is
That's
top
like-
5 my favorite movie.
Like
One of my
100%
favorites.
corn.
Yeah.
It
And
is, as you wish.
10% ridiculous on top of that 100% corn.
But it's
I mean, like,
Unusual
yeah,
size.
that's exactly what I was thinking when you said Ewoks. Was the rodents of unusual size? So they're legitimately like.
who was it? Billy Crystal played that the crazy the older guy who brought him back to life.
I have no idea, but that was
I
weird
think it was
too.
Billy Crystal.
I
I think
have
it
no
was.
That whole movie is just.
Oh, it was
ridiculous.
so good.
I did a movie study, I guess, and the amount of times that they just use smoke machines, like
Yeah.
10 times throughout the movie.
Guys, we have a budget.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, but then again, the same things could be said for all of
Man,
the.
we talked. I made a reference to Princess Bride back when we were playing D&D too.
Did you?
Yeah, we're talking about poison in the glasses and stuff. So,
Drunk.
I think it was Ryan who said something like that. Oh shit! I guess I shouldn't have poisoned your glasses. Haha! Joke's on you.
Yes.
I poisoned both glasses.
I've taken the past few years to build up an Iocane resistance, and it's like, and then Connor I think tried to make another joke off of that by saying, oh yeah, and then he just turned around, he's drinking both glasses, and anyway, it's like, oh yeah, and this is why you never play mind games with a Sicilian. Drinks the glass, falls over dead.
My favorite thing from The Princess Bride will always be the priest.
Oh, marriage. Marriage is such a sacred ceremony.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Should
You
watch it
can't say,
again.
you can't, like, he speaks with an impediment.
Yeah.
Marriage. Yeah.
Can't do R's. I don't think you can do L's.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's. I'll get on with it. Yeah, it's like, fuck, that's such a good movie. Never read the book.
There's a book.
Yeah, it's based on a book. That he's literally reading his grandson the book
Oh shit, you're
of
right.
the movie. Like, they literally have the book in the movie.
Yeah.
Super
Oh,
meta.
okay,
Super meta.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
I need to read this book.
I haven't bothered you because I love the movie so much. I don't want my thoughts of the movie to be tainted if the
guess
book's so
so.
much better
I
or
guess.
if the book's worse. But I hear the book is fantastic. I just don't want
Maybe
my...
they're both equally good.
I
Just
doubt
in
it.
different
I doubt
ways.
it. I doubt
Never
it.
the way.
I doubt it. It's never.
the way.
No.
No, it's not.
No.
One is
So
always
either the movie's just going to be shit after I read the book, or the book is just going to just be terrible. So I don't want. I'm staying away from it. It's like if they made Dragonlance into a bunch of movies. I probably wouldn't go see it because I mean they used to actually have an animated. I think they did. Because I know they had comic books based off Dragonlance. I think they might have had like an animated movie. I think they might have made one.
I don't
The real
remember.
questions.
I
these
think
are
so. Oh, this is gonna bother me.
Well,
Oh well. Fuck you being bothered. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
you'll get over it.
I'm sure I will.
Yeah. I mean, the Dungeon and Dragon movies, those were awful.
Didn't see them.
They're really bad.
Did not see them.
I did not know they existed.
Yeah.
I think there's. I can only think of one that I've ever seen, but I think there's multiple.
Oh, there
know
is. There
there's
was. There was a couple. Yeah. Actually, they made a sequel to the recent one.
They shouldn't have.
I know. Just cash cow. Getting that money.
But how did that movie make money?
I have no idea.
It was
I have no idea.
real bad.
Don't
That's
even.
just like Avatar, the Last Airbender movie.
Oh God, yeah.
That was bad.
Didn't see it.
Oh, it's
Never
okay.
got into Avatar. I don't know what it was. I just
You-
I got it.
You should watch
I
it.
watched the movie. I thought the movie was okay, and then a couple of years ago, I watched the actual series, and now looking back on it, the movie's shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, he's
Actually,
bad.
here's something that I actually was that actually worked out. I saw Serenity before I ever saw Firefly.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I remember this explicitly. I believe Jeremy, the guy who's living with me now, was living with us back then. It was back in high school. I was 15 or 16. Or was he just hanging out? Either way, I remember we put on this sci-fi action movie on in the background while we were cleaning up downstairs and everything. And I remember watching it and seeing bits and pieces of it. And then my buddy Jeremy said, "Oh, yeah, it's Serenity. We should watch it." And okay. So he downloaded it, or he had it on DVD or whatever. So we sat down and watched it. And no, I was older than that because I graduated in 2006, and Firefly was canceled in 2004.
It was early 2000s. I didn't start watching
Or was it
until
2003? I think it was canceled 2003. So yeah, so Serenity would have been out. Yeah, so it was right around when I graduated, I believe, is when Serenity came out. It came out about 3 years after the show was canceled. Anyway, so yeah, we were watching it, and then we sat down and watched the whole thing. I thought, wow, this is a really cool movie, but I have some questions. And he says, "Oh, yeah, that's because this is based on a TV show." And I said, "It is?" Yeah. So then I went. So then he lent me his DVDs, and I binged it, and it will forever hold a place in my heart. There's one episode. Have you ever seen Firefly?
Nope.
You've seen Firefly?
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, so you know the episode Out of Gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ending gets me every single time. It makes me tear up because Nathan Fillion. I was watching a Q&A he was hosting. It happens right around San Diego Comic. Anyway, he does a charity thing where he just brings a bunch of shit from different things he's worked on, and he so people will ask questions. He'll give them little tidbits of stuff every time somebody asks a question, and then he'll auction stuff off. Like, this is a replica of the jacket I wore in Firefly. This is a episode 52 script of mine for Castle that I've signed and everything like that. So he just auctions stuff off, and I mean, there's some shit that goes for $1,000 because it's like a hoodie, posters, blah, 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 a bunch of memorabilia and stuff, and people just chuck money.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
As nerds tend to. But one person asked a question like, "What's your most emotional moment, or what was one of your favorite moments playing Malcolm Reynolds, who is the character he plays in Firefly?" And he says, "Well, that moment is probably the when he's laying in the med bay, surrounded by his crew, where he finally." He says it showed me and the audience that he really does care for his crew and that they are his family, kind of thing. And then as he was saying it, Nathan Fillion himself was tearing up over a decade after he played this character, and he still has an emotional connection to him where, again, he's wiping tears off. He's like, wow, it still gets me every time. And ever since I saw that, every time I've watched the episode afterwards, it makes me think about that, and it puts me in his perspective, in that character's shoes, and I'm like, oh no, not again, not again, no.
What I've gotten from this podcast so far is you need to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you need to watch Firefly.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
Apparently.
sweet Christmas.
So what do you need to watch?
I don't know. Apparently, I've watched everything that needs to be watched, which
I don't know about that.
is
Yeah.
definitely
You ever
not
see
true.
Scrubs?
Yeah, I've seen Scrubs.
All right, you're good.
Try
Scrubs, okay, you're good. What else is there? Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Do you watch Rick and Morty?
No, don't like it.
What
I watched
the
it. I
fuck?
watched an episode.
What
and just didn't
the
like
fuck?
It. Sorry.
I didn't like
It could take an episode or two to get into it.
Yeah, it
I
took
watched,
me a couple of episodes to get in.
I actually watched the last episode of season 2.
Okay.
Oh,
It was like
season
the-
2. Yeah,
the
that was
Purge.
that was
The Purge
super. That
episode.
was super heavy. That was a really heavy episode. When Rick goes, spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. Rick gets sent to prison.
No.
Oh,
No.
then never mind. Spoiler alert, Miki. No, that is the final episode of season 2.
Yeah.
Maybe it was season 3
And it
then.
was
Season
super-
1?
Season 3 just
Season,
started.
yeah.
I have no idea.
Who coincidentally has Nathan Fillion as a guest voice actor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, I just didn't like it.
And Nathan Fillion's show, Firefly was in space, it had spaceships, Star Wars is a spaceship, boom, everything's back to Star Wars.
Of course.
3 Degrees Kevin Bacon. Although I don't really know a lot about Kevin Bacon's acting career. Have you never heard of that?
Nope.
Is it 3 Degrees? Yeah, 3 Degrees Kevin Bacon. Like, everything can go back to Kevin Bacon. So, like, we're talking about Star Wars, then you talk about was he in
You're not good. I don't know.
was he in Top Gun?
guarantee you I don't know that.
I think he was in top. Anyway, so it's just everybody can associate stuff to Kevin. Okay, so Nathan Fillion, Firefly, spaceships, Apollo 13. Kevin Bacon was in Apollo 13. So it's the different degrees of Kevin Bacon. Like, how long can it take you to get from whatever topic you're on to Kevin Bacon?
It's the same kind of idea with, I don't know if this is even remotely true, but I once heard that you're never more than 6 acquaintances away from knowing everybody in the world. So if you start from one person you know, and then go to the next, and then the next, by the time you get to that 6th person, in theory, you could get to anybody on the planet.
That's amazing. What? I want to try it.
I don't think it's actually true, but
I don't
heard
think
that
it is
a long
either.
time ago.
I 100% don't think it is.
Yeah.
There's like 7.5 billion people in this world.
There are people that live in
think.
remote countries that you could never reach.
Well, that's exactly it. Right?
But I think the idea is like within the first world where everybody's connected with the internet.
Oh yeah,
because of the internet, you can.
I could
Totally.
feasibly see that happening 30% of the time.
Yeah.
In a first world, I could see that probably happen in 30% of it. Because there's a lot of people who have 2,500, 3,000 friends on Facebook or something fucking ridiculous like that. But then does that count as knowing somebody or Twitter interaction? Like, does that count as something? But
Twitter, no.
I don't think so.
Unless you have like mutual follows.
Right.
Yeah. And another thing that makes me doubt that
Brooklyn
is
Nine-Nine.
What?
Have you seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No, I haven't.
There, you gotta watch Brooklyn
Ooh,
Nine-Nine.
It's actually not going to be hard to find things I haven't watched. I haven't watched a lot.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is fan-fucking-tastic. I say that because one of the characters, Terry Crews, plays Terry, a guy named Sergeant Terry Jeffords on the thing, and he says he's a proud
Scary
member.
Terry.
Yeah,
I saw a meme.
Terry Crews is fucking hilarious on this show. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, check it out. It may be a little slow start, but after the first episode, it immediately, how there's usually like a growing period with a lot of shows that when they first start off, especially Community had a very drastic kind of first 2 or 3 episodes growing period.
Yeah.
But Brooklyn Nine-Nine, right after the first episode, they get right into their flow, and that's it.
Okay.
They do not change from there, and they got a good formula going. Check it out.
Is there any way I can legally watch that? Is it
Netflix.
on Netflix? Okay.
Yeah. All 4 seasons are on Netflix.
All right, I'll
Netflix is
watch that.
Netflix is fantastic.
Firefly's on Netflix, I'm pretty sure. That's
Sure.
something at some point.
Pretty sure it is.
So watch Firefly.
Ooh,
You have no
pressure's
excuse.
on. I have to finish watching Game of Thrones first.
Fuck
so.
that noise. Fuck that noise.
No,
What?
Game of
No,
Thrones is better than
No, it isn't.
Firefly. It
No,
absolutely
you
so well.
shut your
100%
dirty whore
is.
mouth. You shut your dirty
Game of
whore
Thrones is
mouth.
10 times a better show than Firefly. And
Oh,
I love
You're a
Firefly.
fucking lunatic. You're a fucking lunatic.
I don't know. I think Game of Thrones is good. I don't know anything about Firefly.
But you cannot weigh in.
I can't?
No, you can't. You haven't seen Firefly.
Oh, that's right.
You can't weigh in.
Sorry. I'm just not important enough.
Game of Thrones probably is not 10 times better than Firefly, but it's better than Firefly.
Oh my god, no, it's not.
It absolutely is.
Hey, so what's the DC movie that Joss Whedon's going to direct?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, it's got a female lead. Is it the?
Okay.
I think they're gonna make a Catwoman and like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy movie,
I thought it was just Catwoman.
or is it maybe just a Catwoman movie?
I don't know. I don't follow.
But okay, I know that Joss
studio
Whedon's
this
supposed
is.
to be directing a DC Comics movie, and it's supposed to have a strong female lead, and he knows all about strong female leads.
Pretty sure it's Catwoman then.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because Zoe from Firefly, as well as Black Widow from in the Avengers and stuff, he does good in making them look all. And Buffy, of course, can't forget Buffy.
And one of my favorite things from Joss Whedon is his response every time now he gets asked how he creates strong female leads, and he's like, I just create characters. I don't create strong females. I create strong characters. Yeah. And then they are female because a female fit the part or whatever.
Yeah. It doesn't matter their gender. I make a character, and if it feels right to be a woman, then it'll be a woman. If it feels right to be a man, he makes strong male leads too. Yeah. Look at Captain Malcolm Reynolds, who is the leader of this crew. He is the proverbial father of the family. But then he also makes weaker male characters like Wash or the Doctor. Yeah. Who are very adverse to fighting and aren't very good at it and choose to rather avoid it or make smart-ass remarks instead, right? So, and there's River, who is crazy powerful, but also bonkers. Anyway, don't want to get too far into that. Don't want to lead into spoiler territory for Miki. This is a show I will not spoil for anybody if they haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Because everybody should experience the joy and wonderment that any first-time Firefly watcher should experience.
Yeah, and if you're out there and you haven't watched Firefly, watch Firefly.
Oh, sweet Christmas, yes. Oh my gosh, I can't.
We can all watch it together.
Sure. I love Firefly. I'm gonna go home and watch it. Later. No, I might play Stardew Valley. It's on the Xbox.
Oh, Stardew.
I played it on the computer when you could only start off with one type of farm, but now there's 4 or 5 different starting locations.
There's 5.
Yeah.
Starting farms.
Yeah, starting. That's what I meant, right? So is it still in the same town? Like it's just this chunk where your farm is just cut out and replaced. That's it.
Yeah.
So there's still the same paths going the north, east, and south, and okay. I'm probably gonna go through a couple years. I think there might be an achievement for starting a farm in each. So I love achievements, so I'll probably go through and do that.
I will say this: don't start off trying to make money off of animals.
No, it's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with Harvest Moon. Like this game, it was done by one dude.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing feat. He is. Oh, also, if you choose what's your favorite thing and put Concerned Ape into your thing, you get a bonus boost to energy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You get extra energy because I was on the wiki and I was just looking up and I thought favorite thing. There should be something here. I can't help but feel as though there's something in here that will benefit. So I Googled, is it relevant what I put into favorite thing, quotation, Stardew Valley? And the first thing was that if you put in Concerned Ape, a message will be like, oh, that's awful nice of you.
Yeah.
Bonus to energy.
Oh, man, I need to do that.
Yep.
Mine's always been like cats or something, but it always feels weird when you get like a star drop and it tells you, and it's like, oh, the taste reminds you of cats. And I'm like, oh, no.
You think that's weird? My first one was like, what the hell does that got to do anything? And I just put ass in there because I did. It's like, yeah. So, and then that popped and I was like, I've made a terrible mistake.
And screen cap. All right.
I should have, but I didn't.
That's funny. But yeah, so the game is fantastic. I mean, yes, it takes a lot from Harvest Moon, but it's Harvest Moon, but with so much more to it. But that's the same tactic with Harvest Moon: is you go forage and you go harvest crops. And then you eventually build up to getting, your chicken, then your sheep, then your cow, and stuff.
You can also do the mines.
Yeah.
And
And the mines are here too.
The skull mines.
Desert.
Yeah.
So I got to the bottom of the first mine in the town. Then I went over to the desert, and I'm pretty sure I got to the bottom of that
No,
too.
you can't
There's
get to
no
the bottom.
bottom.
There's no bottom.
Right, okay.
It goes on forever.
Yeah.
And then it's just one of the random levels you get a certain thing that can do anyway.
Yeah.
But I stopped playing after, I think I stopped playing into my second year in spring or summer.
Yeah.
I stopped
So I
in
was
summer
almost
too.
done. But I just, for some reason, I stopped playing on the computer. And now I've picked it up on the Xbox, and I'm going to devote my time between that and Mountain Blade. Speaking of, I had to do a defense of a capital city.
Oh, yeah.
I was outnumbered like 7-1.
Yeah.
And I just stood at the top of the ladder, and it's just right trigger, because I just kept swinging, dropping people like every hit.
Still don't know how you can
It
do
was
that.
so painful. My arm was seizing up from just hitting right trigger. What do you mean?
Because when I try to do that, I've been playing Mountain Blade. I've got 400 hours in it, and I carried the same character across every playthrough.
I wish I could do that. I wish I could have done that, because my character, when I ended my first playthrough, was level 35.
Yeah.
And now this female character I've just restarted, she's now level 27.
Yeah.
But that's just because I go through and I have to kill everything myself.
Yeah.
Right?
But when I play the game, it doesn't matter what armor I have. It doesn't matter what weapons I have. If I'm standing at the front of the castle, when I've got really good armor, I can stay there for a while before I have to try to back out through the press of bodies and hope I escape before I die. But
hold up your shield and force your way back.
Well, usually by that point, my shield's already broken because I see swing coming. I put my shield up and it eventually breaks.
Right.
And it's continuously moving my sword around to try to block myself.
Okay, here's the cheat. So, as opposed to standing right in front of it, I stand off to the left.
That's what I do
your character swings right in. But you're standing up against the wall, and what happens is if they're standing up higher, they go to swing you, but it clips the wall.
Yep.
So their sword bounces back, so I just stand there, and I just keep hitting, because where I'm swinging, it's not hitting the wall, but I'm hitting their hitboxes.
My problem when I do that is eventually I will get squeezed out by the AI, and then I'll just be hitting the back of my guys' heads, and you don't do any damage through your guys.
Oh, that's fine. If they want to get in front of me and die, fuck them.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Well, the thing is, they press in, and I can't do anything. I'm just sitting there.
Okay,
Well, that's why I make sure to get myself up first.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this game. How do we get from Stardew and farming to murder again?
Oh, because I said I'm going to play the shit out of Stardew Valley for a while, as well as Mountain Blade, and then Matt and I talk about Mountain Blade quite a bit.
Okay.
And I got conquer blocked in my first playthrough. It was fucking... Okay, so basically what it is your goal is to either start your own kingdom and rule all the land, or ally yourself with a king and then rule all the land.
All right.
Actually, even after you conquer all the land with the king, you can still choose to play, which means I think the end game is to run your own kind of country, or run the country yourself. But anyway, so I was 3 castles away from conquering the entire land for my one king, and then he made peace. So I had to wait for the peace to end, the truce to end, and then to provoke the other guy into waging war against my king. It added an extra hour and a half or so of gameplay that I just did not want to deal with, but I had no choice.
How rude of him.
It was so annoying. I
Making
kept talking
peace.
to him, being like, "Hey, let's follow me. Let's go kill people. Let's go kill people. Let's go kill people. Let's go kill." It's like, no, not yet. Gotta wait for the time to be right. Gotta wait for the time to be right. Gotta recover our troops. Blah blah. Blah. Meanwhile, my king had like 700 plus troops. This other guy on our team had 700 plus troops. I had 102.
Yeah.
You know, because apparently you can't get more than 150 guys, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's based on your leadership and your honor and all that stuff. Anyway, it's just really annoying. And your morale would just plummet at that point.
Yeah.
It's an older game. It was made back in the very early 2000s. Like it's not pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still really fun. And the sequel of it, or a spiritual successor to it, is coming out.
Well, it's the
this year?
sequel. It's made by the same people.
Okay, cool.
It's called Mountain Blade Bannerlord.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. All right, very very direct. Okay,
Yes,
yeah. So
correct.
it's coming out on the computer this year or early next year.
Yeah, something like
So
that.
I'm looking forward to it. I won't be able to play it because my laptop's shite.
I'll be able to play it because I got a great computer.
Yeah, me too. Oh, man.
Oh, you got your new computer,
Good job.
did you?
No, not yet. I get it.
Yeah.
She'll have a new computer.
Yeah.
I either get it at the end of September
Yeah,
or the
man,
end
those
or
visual
somewhere.
novels are super intensive.
They are. I either get it at sometime in September or October.
Cool.
Why is it taking so long to...
Well, you see, it's
Buying it in
not getting
pieces.
here. No, it's
Oh.
coming in a whole thing. It's already ready to go. But I actually need a keyboard still. It's the only thing I'm missing,
Take
aside
that
from
one.
the computer. Yeah, I'm sure the Mac keyboard will work great on this Windows
You can
PC.
probably buy an adapter.
Anyways, so the computer's coming on the 15th, 18th, somewhere around there.
Hmm.
But Sean's parents, who I'm buying it from, want to keep it for a month or two to show off their Vive before they give it to us. Because this computer is what runs their Vive. So they can't use the Vive without it. Mind you, they're still giving the Vive to us anyway.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
So I just have to wait a couple months before I can get it. So
Fair
they
enough.
can show
That's
off
not
their
so bad.
stuff.
I mean, fair enough if you don't have to pay exorbitant money for it.
Yeah.
Like
No.
yeah, my computer would struggle with VR. I don't have the money to buy a VR machine, but I've got the GTX 970, which is the
Yes.
minimum requirement.
I know what that means.
I was getting to the point. It's the minimum requirement just to use VR. So anything extreme on VR would be bad
Yeah.
for me, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know what this computer has. Everybody asks me the specs. I have absolutely no idea. All I know is that it runs VR and it's got the top of the line graphics card.
I press the
From
power
last
button
year.
and it turns on.
Yeah.
It's probably a 1080 Ti or something like that.
I have absolutely no
I know,
idea.
yes, it's
Yes,
fine.
Matt. That is probably what it is.
It's exactly
Yes.
what it is. Yep. I
Yep.
know exactly what
We
you're
are
talking about.
we are all on the same page and in agreement that is.
It's never a
what
good
it
thing
is.
talking about computer specs when I'm the one of the most knowledge in the room because I don't know that much about it, to be
I
honest.
used
know a
I
bit.
used to know, 6-7 years ago when I was super into WoW and trying to build my own computers from scraps and all that stuff just to keep up with the requirements and whatnot. I used to know a bit, but now where I've gone to predominantly console gaming, it doesn't matter.
You went the
It
wrong
doesn't-
way.
Great.
I don't think I did at all, sir. I don't think I did at all.
I hear people say that it's too complicated and they just want things to work. I have never struggled to get a game to work on my PC.
I don't know if it's so much
I have.
struggling to get it. Well, I have as well, but I don't think it's so much that people worry about, but more the whole everything else that comes with having a PC, because there is a lot that can go wrong with a PC if you don't treat it
also
right.
Don't
I guess,
have
yeah.
to buy the PC and the controller,
Yeah.
you have to buy the PC, the monitor, the keyboard,
And I
mouse.
mean, in 4 years,
It is
my
true.
Xbox is still gonna work.
My
you know?
PC is going to work a lot longer than
Yeah,
your
but I mean,
Xbox.
but how many pieces are you gonna have to replace over that time? Like how many to update and to play
my-
the newer games and whatnot? Because Xbox One games can come out for over the next 4 to 5 years.
My
and chances
last
are,
computer
I'm not
worked
gonna have
for
to worry about
6 years, and it was not top of the line when I bought it. It was actually not very good. I could play the newest games on lowest settings for about 6 years. With this one, it'll probably be longer than that. I won't be able to play on great graphics, but I'll still probably have better graphics
Right.
than the
But
next
my
generation console.
but my graphics interact. Like, I doubt it.
I don't.
I do.
Computers
100%.
have
100%.
gone so much
The
better
current
than-
graphics power
Console.
of
Have you ever
the
played
current
Uncharted?
console
Have you
generation.
ever played Uncharted?
I have.
It's a fantastic game. It's a beautiful game. I know it's on Xbox, but it's a beautiful game, and that was even back in like PlayStation 3.
Yes.
It was amazingly
It's
beautiful.
It's
Tomb Raider. Oh my
pretty-
god, it's such a good game.
It's a pretty game. It's not as pretty as PC graphics. Even The Last of Us, which was kind of like the pinnacle of what the PS3 could do, granted. It's considering what was required on screen at a time for The Last of Us compared to what you could do on a PC if you had a properly optimized game, the graphics could be way better on PC. That's the thing. Like,
Counterpoint to all of this, people fucking love Minecraft. Who gives a shit about graphics? Yeah, I mean that's something that people bring up
even
so
mine
much.
used- you want to bring up Minecraft? Minecraft on consoles is worse than on PC because of limited world size. Although I don't know if that's. I think even
Not
on
true anymore.
Xbox One.
Not any true. No,
Okay.
No, it's not
Xbox
true
One
anymore.
now it's like 32 times the size of what the Xbox 360 was,
That's
which
still
is
limited compared to PC, which is literally unlimited.
It is.
well, I mean,
But
so
the
I
chances that you use
challenge
it all
you
is so
to play the
small.
Xbox console game and fill out the borders of the entire map. I challenge you to do
It's
that.
not really my point. My point is that on PC,
Well, then it's
for a-
essentially unlimited.
You
then,
also get some
if you're not gonna do
sweet
that.
mods on PC,
Yeah.
so it looks incredible.
Yeah, but
well, there's
then
no
again,
point to modding Minecraft to make it look good. You
Yeah.
still have
No.
blocks that are.
You
Yeah,
you also can't play.
Man, this texture
Skyfactory.
block I'm beating looks really cool.
Yeah,
And now it's just a square out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Everything's still floating above me? Okay.
yeah.
I mean, what is it? Yeah. You don't play Minecraft for it to look pretty. You play with Minecraft to make giant dicks. Or
Also-
giant butts.
Also, I'll take my buttery smooth 60 FPS over console gaming any day.
I mean, I have smooth FPS as well.
You got 30 if you're playing on console.
I don't give a shit. It fucking works.
That's not smooth.
Yes, it is.
That's not.
It doesn't.
Alright,
It
well-
doesn't glitch. It's not
No,
choppy.
it doesn't
it's not,
stutter unless the people are actually no. Fallout 4 stuttered quite a bit on PS4.
I think that's also kind of the game itself, not the console being the issue.
Or
I think
the
on
console
PC it's
can't
better.
support the
Although something I've learned about relatively recently is there's more that goes into a game looking smooth than just frame rate. It's also placing the frames properly. I don't know it well enough, but it's like you have to make sure it's not interpolating is actually what I'm thinking of, between two frames.
Is that actually a word? You're
Interpolating?
making shit
Yeah.
up.
I'm not.
You're making shit up.
No, I'm not.
Shenanigans, sir.
Well, you've got a phone, look up interpolating.
It's all the way over there on airplane mode.
Interpolating.
All the way over
It's,
there.
extrapolating is going from one point and extrapolating it out. Interpolating is between 2 points and getting a point.
So
in
that's the
between them.
distance. Oh, so that's any point between two objects or two 2 points of reference.
2 points of reference.
Okay.
It's the same thing with it. I'm not going to get into it.
No. Okay. No, I see it. I'm breaking down the word in my head. That makes sense.
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, we're not going to get into that because I don't know well enough about it to talk
fair
anyway.
enough.
But
Okay.
That's okay. We're getting.
Look it up and get back to us.
We're quite a bit into the podcast. It's about
Yeah.
time to wrap it up anyway.
yeah, I think it's about time.
It is
Yes,
about time.
Mom. God.
So thanks for listening, everyone. My name is Miki.
I'm DJ.
And I'm Matt.